So first of all, let's look at what we mean about foreign direct investment spillover to domestic companies. It means that, well, when you're in a country, when in a host country, when a foreign investor companies in your country, well, domestic companies have opportunities to observe what foreign companies are doing and to learn from their practices, their strategies to create their own advantage. So how does FDI spillover occur? Basically, four major mechanisms. One is the demonstration effect. Domestic companies just observe what foreign companies are doing and copy what they are doing. And also the second one is that using business linkage, especially upstream suppliers and downstream distributors. Think about when foreign companies using suppliers in a host country, domestic companies can use the same suppliers, get the same components, get the same parts, right? So using the same suppliers actually makes it very easy for domestic companies to learn from foreign companies. The third mechanism is employee turnover. Domestic companies can hire people, sometimes a group of people, from foreign employers. The employee turnover can transfer knowledge from foreign firms to domestic companies, right? So those are, and sometimes just because there are foreign companies in an industry, it increases the competition. So the competition forces domestic company to improve their technologies. So these are the four major mechanisms for spillovers to occur. In the first project, I look at in a particular industry, right? How many different country origin diversity of foreign companies. My theory is that because companies in different countries, they develop some unique technologies. Let's take auto industry as an example, right? You will think about the German cars, you will think that strong engine, right? You will think of Japanese cars, like it's total quality management, low cost, reliability very high. Right? These different companies in different countries, they develop some unique technologies. So when they invest in industry, for example, in China, they bring a diversity of knowledges in the industry. Then from the perspective of domestic company, they can observe a variety of knowledges and practices and technologies, and just to recombine those different knowledge components to create their own new product. So in their new products, probably every knowledge component is not new, but the combination is new. So that's why I argue that the diversity of foreign firms, country origins, can contribute a stronger knowledge spillover to domestic companies. So actually my findings support this theory. In my second project, I look at in an industry how long foreign companies have been in the industry and how the spillover to domestic company will happen during the time, right? And I find that actually the longer time foreign companies have been in the industry, the better knowledge spillover to domestic company. However, there is a limit. The spillover will not happen continuously, right? There's a limit. My estimate is that about 10 to 12 years is about the time domestic companies either learn from foreign companies to improve their productivity or they just can't. Both projects, I think, have very important implications to both policymakers of the host country, to multinational managers, and also to domestic managers. Let me explain one by one. First of all, from policymakers' perspective, I think there are two pieces of suggestions I would like to offer. The first is that when the policymaker, you make a decision, policy to attract foreign direct investment, you want to attract a diversity of foreign direct investment, especially foreign direct investment from different countries, right? If you say in a particular industry, you attract all the investment from U.S., you can only learn from U.S. companies, right? You lose the opportunity to learn from German companies, Japanese companies. So that's why it's very important to increase the variety, diversity of FDI in a particular industry. And the second suggestion is that policymakers need to be more patient, because in China sometimes there's a debate about whether FDI, how much FDI contributes to economic development. And do foreign companies help domestic companies, or actually do foreign companies push out domestic companies? So we have seen such a debate in China, right? So my study suggests that we need to be more patient, because spillovers will not happen overnight. It really takes time. My estimate is about 10 to 12 years. After a decade, we do see great spillovers from foreign companies to domestic companies. How much domestic company can learn from foreign company also depends on their own ability, internal ability to learn. It means that actually the stronger you are, the bigger you are, the more you can learn from foreign companies. So I think that's very important. It's not only just the external environment. It's also very important for domestic companies to improve their own, we call it absorb capacity. Well, what is the implication to the multinational managers? Let's be honest, knowledge leakage sometimes is unavoidable, because knowledge to some extent is public good, right? So the question is that, well, what can multinational companies do to reduce knowledge leakage? Or more important, how to benefit from such knowledge leakage? I think it's very important, like, for multinational companies to recognize in what kind of situation they are more vulnerable to domestic firms' imitation. On the other hand, a lot of Chinese companies are developing good technologies, good managerial practices, good brands. So the growth of Chinese companies, on the other hand, creates great opportunity for foreign companies to learn from these domestic companies, right? And learning can happen from another perspective, because a lot of companies, they don't know how much knowledge they have, how valuable their knowledge is. A lot of companies don't know how to use the value of a knowledge until they see how other companies use their knowledge, build upon their knowledge. Foreign companies may say, this is a possible way, I didn't realize it. This is a possible way to extend my knowledge to penetrate a new market. So this also creates a good opportunity for foreign companies to learn from Chinese companies, indeed also learn from themselves. So those are my suggestions to policymakers, multinational managers, as well as domestic managers.